Sayadaw has been explaining that by noting every arising object that is arising in oneself, such as rising and falling of the abdomen, with aim and effort, one's noting will be effective. When one's noting is effective, when the noting mind is concurrent with the object, the noting mind falls calm and collected on the object, and one discerns distinctly between the object that has been noted with the noting mind. One understands that the noting mind is apart from the object that was noted. So in this way, one differentiates between mind and matter. And Sayadaw explained by giving an example of sitting down from standing position. At the moment of sitting down, there is nama and rupa, mentality and materiality that really exist. And in order to discern mentality and materiality, one has to note by Satipatthana practice. When noting meticulously, thoroughly, at times the noting mind falls on intention to sit, and at times the noting mind falls on materiality, knowing, stiffness, tension, heaviness, and so on. When the noting mind falls on nama, mentality, one discerns mentality. And when the noting mind falls on rupa, materiality, one discerns materiality. Discerning nama, rupa, mentality and materiality, one develops Dhamma Vavatthana Jnana, and one is said to fulfill the first stage of Sasana light. So, by discerning mind and matter through the noting, by discerning mind and matter distinctly through one's experience of practice, one is said to develop the first stage of light in the sasana. In the beginning, before one practices, when one does not practice, one sees nama rupa as a whole. One does not know distinctly between mind and matter, and thus there will be sammoha. Sammoha means intense delusion. There will be uncertainty, unclear about mind and matter. When one has sammoha, intense delusion, there will be uncertainty, and also there will be not knowing and knowing wrongly. In the past existences as well, people have been having sammoha, intense delusion, and also ignorance, not knowing, knowing wrongly. Also, in this life, if one does not practice Satipatthana meditation, one will continue to have intense delusion, ignorance. If one is not mindful, if there is delusion, if one comes one moment of delusion per second, Being unmindful for 1 minute, there will be at least 60 moments of not knowing, knowing wrongly. In 5 minutes, there will be 300 moments of not knowing, knowing wrongly. And in 1 hour, there will be 3,600 moments, at least 3,600 moments of not knowing and knowing wrongly. Not being mindful for the whole day, there will be 24 times 3,600 moments of not knowing, knowing wrongly, ignorance. And multiplied by 1 day, 2 days, there will be hundreds of thousands of moments filled with ignorance. So it is called moha patala, layers of delusion. Layers of delusion, not knowing, knowing wrongly. And it is compared to the cataract in the eye. What really exists is nama and rupa, mentality and materiality. But because moha patala, layers of delusion, are covering up the truth, and thus one does not develop the sasana light within oneself. If one has the understanding that good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, good and bad results are caused by one's own deeds, if one has this kind of understanding, one has samsara light, one has light in the samsara, but one has not developed sasana light yet. Coming across the teaching of the Buddha, by practicing Satipatthana meditation, discerning mind and matter, one is said to develop the first stage of sasana light. But without any practice of Satipatthana meditation, not discerning mind and matter, one will still be in the darkness. When coming to the center to practice meditation, having the chance to meet with Kalyana Mitta, true companion, practicing respectfully, meticulously, according to the guidance given, in accordance with the teaching of the Buddha, practicing diligently, yogi can develop the first sasana light even within hours or even within a few days. For yogi who can explain clearly, eloquently, is considered as a bright yogi, and such kind of bright yogi, practicing diligently, respectfully, according to the teaching of the teacher, will develop the Dhamma within hours, within a few days. And thus, such kind of bright yogi, diligent yogi, will dispel Dhamma Samoha. She will dispel the darkness of delusion. And the person develops Dhamma Vavatana. The person develops the first stage of sasana light, when discerning mind and matter. Discerning mind and matter is only the foundation. Only discerning mind and matter, and if one has not discerned cause and effect, then one will have one can still have the wrong view of causelessness. So if one has not understood cause and effect from one's own experience, only if one has the theoretical knowledge without knowledge through one's experience, one can still hold the view of causelessness. And also, not discerning cause and effect through one's experience of practice, one still holds the wrong view that everything is caused by one's past deeds. So this wrong view is called Pubbekata Hetu Ditti, wrong view, believing as everything is caused by past deeds. So such kind of wrong view is incomplete. Not discerning cause and effect, one can also hold fictitious wrong view. Not understanding that relevant cause giving rise to relevant effect through one's experience of practice, one holds the wrong view that it is the Mahabrahma creating the world. And they believe that every being, everything, animate and inanimate, are created by the Mahabrahma. So in this way, not discerning cause and effect through one's experience of practice, one holds wrong view, ahetuka ditti, causeless view, pubbekata hetu ditti, wrong view, believing that everything is caused by past deeds, and visama hetuka ditti, fictitious wrong view, believing that it is the Mahabrahma or the Creator or the Brahma Atta, Supreme Soul, creating the world, creating animate and inanimate things. So discerning mind and matter alone cannot remove ahetuka ditti, pubbekata hetu ditti, and visama hetuka ditti. In this way, the person still believes the view of causelessness. The person still holds the wrong view that things are created by past deeds only, and one still holds the wrong view that it is the Mahabrahma creating everything. So in order to develop the second sasana light, one needs to discern cause and effect. Discerning cause and effect, one develops paccaya bhavatthana jnana, one discerns the knowledge of cause and effect, and it is the second light of the sasana. So long as one has not developed paccaya bhavatthana jnana, so long as one has not discerned cause and effect, there will be paccaya samoha, there will be delusion about cause and effect, and thus the person will still be in darkness of paccaya samoha. So in the past, beings have been in the darkness of paccaya samoha, and also in present life, without practice, without knowledge of cause and effect, one will still be in the darkness of paccaya samoha. Without practicing Satipatthana meditation, without discerning cause and effect through one's experience of practice, it is not known how long the person will still be in the darkness of paccaya samoha. Having paccaya samoha, the person still clings to the wrong view that it is the Brahma Atta, Supreme Soul creating, the person still holds the wrong view of causelessness, and the person still holds the wrong view that everything is done by past deeds, and thus the person is deviated from the correct path, and thus the person does not have anything to depend on throughout one's life, and thus the person is said to be out of breath in the sasana, as the person is destitute, nothing to hold on, nothing to depend on, as one has not discerned knowledge in cause and effect. By practicing Satipatthana meditation, when one gets to the stage of understanding cause and effect through one's practice, it is said that the person has the ease of breathing in the sasana. Having developed knowledge into cause and effect, the person has the ease of breathing in the sasana, having removed the darkness of paccaya sammoha. Before one attains this knowledge, the person is out of breath in the sasana, not having anything to depend on. There is no certainty in the sasana, and it is a loss. Discerning mind and matter alone, one has not developed the second light of the sasana. But discerning cause and effect, one develops the second stage of light in the sasana, and the person is said to have ease in breathing in the sasana. So by practicing Satipatthana meditation, understanding cause and effect, developing knowledge of cause and effect, the person has ease in breathing in the sasana, and if the person accidentally dies at this stage of jnana, it is said that the person will be reborn in good existences. So it is said that the person has definite next existence, good existence, if the person dies at this stage of jnana. As a Sotapanna, the person is reborn in good existences, but when one has gained this stage of knowledge into cause and effect, the person is taken as Chula Sotapanna, a minor stream enterer. So if the person gets to the stage, it will be quite a relief in the sasana. So practicing Satipatthana meditation, one should practice diligently. By practicing diligently, when one gains the stage of discerning cause and effect, one gains a relief in the sasana. So Jaraji has been explaining from theory so that yogi can compare their experience. When one discerns knowledge into cause and effect, one is called a Chula Sotapanna, a minor stream enterer. In order to reach further, in order to reach the stage of Mahasotapanna, the great stream enterer, one should practice further. Practicing further, one develops knowledge that the Nama Rupa phenomena that are arising as cause and effect they arise and pass away. So these nama-rupa phenomena are in a flux, arising, passing away, and thus they are suffering. There is no atta that is permanent or that is good, but things are happening in their own accord. So in order to develop knowledge, one needs to be mindful at the moment of arising. The objects that are to be noted are the same. It is the nama-rupa, mind and matter, that should be noted. So the field of objects to be noted are the same, but one develops knowledge stage by stage based on the objects that are noted. So to explain theoretically the cause and effect, at the moment of sitting down, the intention to sit is the cause, which is nama, mentality. And the actual sitting down is rupa, materiality, which is the effect. So in order to discern cause and effect, one should note at the moment of sitting down where the cause and effect are taking place. So at the moment of sitting down, one should note it as sitting, and by noting that, one can discern cause and effect. When one discerns the cause and effect, one understands that the sitting down materiality is generated by the cause. So sitting down does not arise without a cause. So sitting down arises and it is not without a cause. Because of intention to sit, sitting takes place. When one understands that the intention to sit is causing the actual sitting, one removes ahetuka ditthi, causeless view. Intention to sit are in stage by stage, and also the actual sitting down is also in stage by stage. So the first stage of intention generating the first stage of sitting, the second stage of intention causing the second stage of sitting. The first stage of intention does not generate the second stage of sitting. So the second stage of sitting is not generated by the first stage of the intention. So in this way, it is that the first stage of intention generating the first stage of sitting, the second stage of intention generating the second stage of sitting. So in this way, stages of intention and stages of actual sitting are arising in pairs. So the sitting down is not created by Creator, but it is the intention that is generating the sitting. So by this way, when one understands that the intention to sit is causing the actual sitting, one understands that it is not the Mahabrahma creating, it is not the Creator creating. Sitting is not created by Creator, but it is the intention to sit that generates the actual sitting. So in this way, one understands that relevant cause is giving rise to relevant effect. In order to understand that, one should be mindful at the moment of sitting down. And when one understands cause and effect, when one understands relevant cause, giving rise to relevant effect, one removes wrong view of Visamahetuka Ditti, fictitious wrong view. So before one practices, one should learn in theory the basic knowledge that there is cause and effect. The cause is generating the effect. So in this way, there should be okaha. One should have some learning of basic theory. And if one is not clear about something, one should ask the teacher. There should be paripuja. One should ask. There should be discussion with the teacher. By discerning mind and matter, one develops the first stage of light in the sasana, and by developing knowledge into cause and effect, one develops the second light in the sasana. In order to attain the second light in the sasana, one should understand cause and effect through the noting of every arising object that arises. One should be mindful every time one sits, every time one stands, every time one bends, stretches. Even opening and closing of the eyes should be done mindfully. Even the blinking, one should observe it. One should first learn the correct method of practice, and after one has learned the method of practice, one should put it into practice. It is samasana. One should practice according to the guidance and instruction. Noting diligently according to the guidance and instruction, when one's noting is effective and skillful, there will be pativeda. One will penetrate the true nature. One will penetrate the truth. So Charaji says, when one learns the theory in order to pass examinations or in order to get certificates, one is not said to be developing the sasana light if one does not practice at all. So just by learning the theory to pass examinations, to get the certificate, if one does not learn in order to get the method of practice, it will not be true okaha. It will not be true learning. It will not be true paripuja. It will not be true discussion. So if one learns theory in order to learn the method of practice, then it will be true okaha and it will be true paripuja. But if one does not put it into practice, if one does not practice, then one will still be in the darkness. So one should dispel the darkness of not knowing by learning. One should learn from teachers, one should learn by listening, or one should learn by discussing among fellow scholars. There should be discussion. One should learn how one discerns. One should learn how there is distinction between mind and matter, cause and effect, how cause and effect are related. So in this way, one should learn theory, and also one should put it into practice. When putting into practice what one had learned in theory, by practicing, one will gain pativeda, penetration. One will penetrate the truth. There are so many things to be known within oneself. That's why everything should be done mindfully. Even the minute activity such as opening and closing of the eyes, blinking, should be done mindfully. Before one closes one's eyes, there is the intention to close, and because of the intention to close, the eyes close. Even in these activities such as opening and closing of the eyes, the nama and rupa, mentality and materiality are arising in pair. So in order to discern them, one should be mindful at the moment of arising, and one should aim one's noting mind towards the object so that the noting mind will be face to face or direct with the object. When the noting mind hits the target, the object of meditation, then one discerns the truth. One will be certain about the object when one can know the object with the full mental strength present in the noting. So in order to discern, one should note at the moment of arising. One should dispel not knowing by noting the object to discern it. So one should practice Vipassana meditation in order to discern, in order to remove not knowing. So Sayadaw has been explaining about the ABCs of Satipatthana day after day, so that yogi will understand. By being mindful of the nama rupa that are arising as cause and effect, discerning cause and effect, one removes wrong view, ditthi. When one understands cause and effect through one's experience of practice, one understands that things do not arise without a cause. Understanding that relevant cause giving rise to relevant effect through one's experience of practice, one understands that Mahabrahma not creating. It is not the creator that is creating. In this way, one removes Visama Hetuka Ditthi, fictitious wrong view. When one discerns cause and effect, understanding relevant cause, giving rise to relevant effect, through one's experience of practice, one can deduct that in the past as well, when one sat down, the cause and effect, nama and rupa, are arising in pair. So in this way, one can deduct that in the past, these cause and effect are arising, and one will be clear. And also in the future, there will be cause and effect arising. One will be clear that in the future as well, these cause and effect arise, cause giving rise to the relevant effect. So in this way, one develops Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi, purification of view, and one removes doubt, uncertainty. If one does not know cause and effect, then one is not fit to attain Nibbana, which is free from all sufferings. Buddha said, Bhikkhu, if one does not know the object, if one does not discern mind and matter, cause and effect, characteristic of impermanent suffering, non-self, through one's experience of practice, because of not knowing, one will crave, one will cling, and thus one cannot stop the round of defilement, avijja, tanha and upadana, ignorance, craving, and clinging. If one cannot stop the round of defilement, avijja, tanha, and upadana, then the round of good and bad deeds will be generated. When the round of good and bad deeds are generated, there will be further results, further assistances, and thus the round of results will continue to rotate. So in this way, not discerning mind and matter, cause and effect, impermanent suffering, non-self, through one's experience of practice, one cannot cut the three rounds, and thus one will not reach the cessation which is free from all suffering. So it is said that the person is unfit, the person does not deserve to attain the person does not deserve, the person is not fit to attain Nibbana, which is free from suffering. So by noting at the moment of arising, by noting, for example, at the time of sitting, one discerns mind and matter, cause and effect, distinctly, clearly. One discerns the characteristics of impermanent suffering and non-self through one experience of practice. Discerning, developing knowledge, one removes ignorance, and thus there will no longer be craving, clinging. So in this way, the round of defilement, avijja, tanha, and upadana will be removed. When one removes the round of defilement, the kamavada, round of deeds, will not be generated, and thus vipakavada, round of resultant, will not rotate. In this way, one reaches the cessation, one reaches the Nibbana, which is free from all suffering. So such a person who practices to discern is fit. The person deserves to attain Nibbana, which is free from all suffering. And Sayadaw will continue to explain tomorrow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.